Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to Delta Games Train Sim Worlds. So, today, Train Sim Worlds 2 has released, and, well, let me tell you, it's definitely a lot of fun. So this morning, I did a couple of runs down the Bakerloo Line, ICE, and CSX heavy haul routes, and I said that we'd do like a focus stream on each of them, and so today we'll be kicking things off with the Bakerloo Line. So we'll jump into the trailer, we'll have a look at what the route's like, and then we'll go jump into the train, shall we? So, that was the trailer for the Bakerloo Line, and let me tell you, definitely very, very excited to drive this one. Also, got Jeff Marshall's book, Tube Station Trivia, and so during the run, we'll have a look at some of the Bakerloo Line facts. So, let's jump into a route, and let's get straight into the train, shall we? So, go to Explore, we'll go to Timetable, we'll select the Mark II Tube Stock 1972, and we shall be using the modern day livery. I have created the a prototype livery for the train. So this was the prototype livery used back in the 1970s when the Bakerloo Line train was being introduced. But we'll use standard today, we'll use modern. We'll start at Paddington Castle, and we shall do a whole run to Harrow Wealdstone. So do a morning rush hour service, as that seems rather fitting for the new sim. Hello there everyone, welcome to Flying Bicycle, welcome Ronan, welcome Adam, welcome Rory, welcome everybody today. So here we are the 201 Delta -06 Elephant Castle service to Harrow Wealdstone. Short service from Elephant Castle to Harrow Wealdstone. We are a 1972 stock, 7 cars, 122.6 yards in length. Let's begin the service, and let's get our train ready to go. First things first, let's unlock the doors. Can't unlock the doors, we haven't set the train up yet, so let's stick the control key in, set that to on, open the doors, turn on the passenger saloon lighting, and let's set up the destination display to Harrow and Wealdstone. There we go. Jump back into the cab. Quick check the platform, make sure that we are all clear. People chose not to take this train, I guess. Doors closed. Set the reverser to inter. Set the train control to off. Clear the warning. Train forward, and let's get going. So, Elephant Castle. The tunnels actually continue 200 yards behind us further and go as far as Camberwell. At some point in the next couple of years, they do plan to extend the Bakerloo Line and run it a couple more stops, although the planning's still in place and the actual extension is as of yet unconfirmed. Such a legendary voice. Yes, with Delivery Designer you can create your own colours for the trains, and so at some point in this we'll go through the Livery Designer and have a look a bit more in detail. You're 2 years old and you live in London. 1984 the Bakerloo Line travelled to Watford. Yes, the Bakerloo Line used to travel to Watford Junction, then they cut it back as far as... So it used to originally run to Harrow Wealdstone, then they extended it to Watford Junction for a couple of years as a trial, before building it back to Stonebridge Park, because they realised that the route was too long, therefore Watford DC line was just going to be too congested. But then realised that Stonebridge Park was too short, and so they put it back at Harrow Wealdstone, where it terminates to this day. Although nowadays trains still terminate at Harrow Wealdstone, Stonebridge Park, and Queen's Park. Bakerloo Line also being the only tube line that terminates in Zone 1. Well, you've got the Waterloo City Line as well, but that one doesn't count. How do you know the upcoming speed limits? So either you can use the UI on the top right there, which has the speed limits, or for the most part you can kind of just spot how it all goes. I mean, most of these underground trains especially, they're not too difficult to manage, not too difficult to drive. So, first station, Lambeth North. Coming a little bit slowly. And there we have it. Train comes to a halt. Doors open right. Have a peek down the platform. Ah, and I see the Extinction Rebellion has decided to join as well. Remember what happened last year. We shall ignore that, close the doors, and let's get going. Trains World, never change, never change. Right, let's get going. Next station, Waterloo. Yes, so Xbox and PlayStation users got the Train Sim mod at midnight, while PC users got to unlock it at 6 PM. Traditionally, Dovetail Games have always released their games and updates on a Thursday at 6 PM, but I think something down to the consoles you can't set a time for release, and therefore automatically unlocks at midnight. But traditionally, it is at 6 PM on a Thursday. It's on PS4, it's on Xbox, it's on PC, Train Sim World. Train Sim World 2 even. This is the latest step in Dovetail Games train simulation. It's like going downhill, so got a little bit of braking just to slow the train down. And the platforms of Waterloo just around the corner. Right. Doors open. And this time, yeah, the passengers at Waterloo are much more civilised, that's for sure. Lambeth North, always a bit of a rowdy place, especially on a Friday night. Right, so Lambeth North, lock the doors, let's get going. Do remember that with these underground trains, you're stopping at stations for no more than 10-15 seconds, to be fair. As trains are so frequent, you're in station, stop, open doors, close doors, go. It's a very quick turnaround. And because of how tight these schedules are as well, it can mean actually following the timetable can be quite difficult unless you have got the skills to actually, well, learn all the routes off by heart, one by one. You've never seen stations so empty. If you ever travelled the London Underground at 11 PM on a Sunday night, it does get empty. It does get empty. But yeah, Train Sim Mod 2, I'm definitely very excited for. Especially seeing where the simulator will go in the future. I mean, I've always liked Dovetail games. I've always liked their simulators, and so it's a nice continuation of this. I mean, what I've played this morning definitely proved that. Welcome to Embankments. Open doors. Watch the monitor. I can see there's a monitor that's not working, and so one of the collectibles to Train Sim World is to touch the monitors and basically fix them. So we've worked on that, and now there should be 3 screens active, not just 2. Just close the doors, and let's get going. I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad myself. So far, so good. Make a trip down to Liverpool, so you can try them for the 508s and 509s before they're scrapped. Are they scrapping the 508s and 9s? I did not know that. Okay. 507s and 8s, yes, that's more like it. Welcome Basil, how you doing? That's side missions like GTA. I mean, a lot of people do compare Train Sim World and Flight Simulator to GTA. For me, why does everything have to be GTA? Why can't you have Train Sim World, Flight Sim World, Grand Theft Auto? People need to remember that Grand Theft Auto is not a simulator by nature. It's a game about, well, you know what Grand Theft Auto is about. So that's not something I need to really explain, but a lot of people enjoy it. Definitely, it's one of those that, I don't know, do you really need to have different things for everything? I can't afraid that this place too far forward, oh well. Doors closed, and let's get going. Next station, Piccadilly Circus. Piccadilly Circus, not too long ago, had a sponsorship with the Picard Netflix series, and so for a little while it was actually renamed Piccadilly Circus. And also what I really like about the station is at the end of the platform, the tunnels open up, and you can actually see both sets of tracks, both trains coming in and out. So at the end of Piccadilly Circus station platform on the Bakerloo is definitely rather cool. What time is it? Time is right now 7:53. You can't really see it because of my overlay and the chat as well, but 7:53 at the moment. Early stages of morning rush hour. One of your favourite stations of Bakerloo? Same here. Same here. The station I'm most frequent is either Oxford Circus or Kenton, but certainly the station that I like the most is Piccadilly Circus. So start slowing the train down. And actually we're not doing too bad for timetable either. We're about 3-4 seconds late, so I can definitely accept that. I'll probably be a little bit more behind by now. I did go to work, yes. Did stream in the morning, went to work late today, and then came back to do some more streaming. Open doors left. Watch the platform. And let's have a look at what's going on at the moment. So again, very empty right now, very quiet. But to be fair, nobody is travelling tube these days, so yeah, it is what it is. Lock the doors, and let's get going. So one thing I like about these old EMUs, because the door locks are not so dependent of the throttle, you can increase the throttle and close the doors, and as soon as door locks are on, the train will just automatically straight away drive. A lot of newer trains, if you have the throttle in with doors open, it will completely cut off your controls. With the other trains, you can have the throttle ready, and it will jump just the moment the doors lock. With the Piccadilly line even, you don't even need to have the doors locked to open the doors. On some cases, you're on a Piccadilly line train, you slow into the station, the doors start to open before trains even come to a stop. And those are the interesting times. But no, the worst offender has to be the Jubilee line driver a couple of months ago. Between Finchley Road and West Hampstead, had the doors open the entire journey. So I'm not sure what the back end was at. Something he had disabled the door lock because of a fault or something. But the passing from Finchley Road to West Hampstead just forgot to close the doors, and as a result the doors were open for the entire trip. There's a video out there of it. It's a sight, that's for sure. Welcome Arian, how you doing? Game so far, I'm enjoying it, Adam. I definitely am enjoying it. Your latest favourite station is Paddington, bad experience. My least favourite is probably Queen's Park. It's a horrible, horrible station. Especially going towards Harrow Wealdstone, where you basically go through a train stable yard. It's not the prettiest, that's for sure. Right, Oxford Circus. And like I say, this is a station that I probably frequent the most when it comes to the Bakerloo Line. Especially when making a transfer from Marylebone to the Central Line. How's it going? Not too bad, not too bad. How do you get overcharged at the gate lines? I mean, surely the gate lines Well, they're automatic, so I'm not quite sure I can be overcharged at those. Card solid, that I can imagine is annoying. Luck wasn't too bad. Do I like football? Yes. Chelsea fan here. I do plan to do an A320 747 ILS tutorial. That will be on the way, Aaron. Did I turn passenger light on? Yes. Passenger light is on. It's the button right here. There's no way I do my passengers in the dark, don't you worry. It's part of your train starting checklist, if you say. Next station, Regent's Park. I'm not going downhill, so I need to manage the brakes a tiny little bit. No, it's running on. See you later. There we go. Increase the throttle a bit, and let's get going towards the next station. The Bakerloo Line is certainly not the fastest of the underground stocks. I mean, it's got the oldest EMU to 1972. So, as the name suggests, they were introduced in 1972. They were initially built for the Northern Line, because Northern Line were lacking its stock numbers. So, initially on the Northern Line. Then, a couple of them were transferred to the Central Line for the High Knots loop. And so they operated in High Knots on the Central Line for about 5 years, before eventually making their way to the Bakerloo Line, where they still operate to this day. Design-wise, they are exactly the same as 1967 stocks, which used to operate on the Victoria Line. And the fun fact about 1967s, they were the first train to feature automatic train operation along the underground. So the Victoria Line, when it was introduced and opened in 1968, if I recall correctly, no, 1967, so when trains were introduced, they were the first underground train to have automatic train operation, and the only line to have ATO since day one it opened. No flight sims today, no flight sims today. We're doing flight sims tomorrow. Today is train sim. Right, doors closed. Next station, Baker Street. Baker Street having the, well, right next door to Sherlock Holmes, who lived on Baker Street, and the station has his silhouettes marked on the wall in tiles. And his silhouette, if you look closely, is made out of tiny little Sherlock Holmes silhouettes. We'll have a closer look at it, as it's definitely one of my favourite monuments in the underground. And certainly one that I do like to have a look at whenever I do pass by. We're not going to talk about flight sims today. Today we're focusing on train sim. Try using the Westinghouse base. Does the Bakerloo Line have a Westinghouse? I'm not too sure. I've got the master controller, but I've never really checked. Does this train have a Westinghouse? I know for a fact that the A stock on the underground trains did, but I don't think any newer trains after that had it. I could be wrong though. There we have it. Train stops. There's no horn on underground trains, you have a whistle. That's your standard whistle. And that's your depot whistle to acknowledge that train is currently moving slowly in the depot. Hello Devon, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chats. Yes, use EP brake cuts as used to be Ah, you're a Bakerloo Line driver. Fair play. I do know a Piccadilly Line driver drives 1973s up and down Cockfosters to Uxbridge Stroke Heathrow. But nah, that's cool, man. I would have liked to have been a train driver, but well, TfL entry requirements are very, very high, to say the least. Right, Marylebone, next station. Cab lights off if you guys want that. It's going to be very dark in the cockpit, that's for sure. Welcome to Marylebone, another station I frequent quite often if I ever need to make a connection to the Chiltern main line. Yeah, the fact that they have got the destinations place working and actually climbing down, I do like that a lot. Wow, is it really 19 minutes between my train next train? At 7 AM, you'd not normally see that on the underground, that's for sure. Right, next station. Edgware Road. Used to be an electrician on the Glasgow subway, that's cool. Never used a metastatic brake. Always used the Westinghouse. You know, wants to go into the... Okay, interesting to know. Do you have to buy separate lines, or do the default Bakerloo... Okay, so you do need to buy separate lines, yes. That will come as the DLC routes in the future, but by default to Trains Mod 2, you get the Bakerloo line, you get the ICE from Köln to Aachen, and then you've also got the Sandpatch grade, formerly known as CSX Heavy Haul. Just keep an eye on that person right there. Did not like that one bit. Yes, the Glasgow subway have the... I'm not sure if it's smallest gauge, but they are definitely the smallest trains. The Glasgow subway is tiny. You're an engineer on the Edgware Road H&C. Nice one. I mean, the closest I got to a railway is a volunteer at the Rice Lido Railway. I'm there every weekend, Saturday to Sunday. Come say hi. Right, stop the doors. Let's get going. Next station, Paddington. I mean, that would be absolutely amazing, Scott. I would 100% be up for that. If you got a way to contact me about that, let me know. If it's an email, you want something. If you're on Facebook, then I think you may have seen me on the train sim group, but give me a note about that. We'll talk. Oops, a bit slow down there. Next station is Paddington. What do you think is more repetitive? Train sim or flight sim? I'd say train sim's more repetitive, but that's down to the fact that you are driving up and down the same line all day. But no two train journeys are going to be the same, that's for sure. I mean, like I say, I volunteer at a railway, and so going between two stations all the time, you do get repetitive, but it's still enjoyable regardless. Right, train comes to a halt. Doors open. Let's monitor the platform here. Although, to be fair, being it's so quiet, there's basically well, it's basically a ghost town right now at Paddington. Something must have happened for a 7... Well, it's 8 in the morning now, 8:06, so something must have happened for a 8 in the morning train to basically be empty. I volunteered at the Rice Lido. The Rice Lido Railway. Thank you very much, Fuzzler. Much appreciated. Next station is Warwick Avenue. So, not too many stops now until we do reach the surface. Got Warwick Avenue, Maida Vale, Kilburn Park, and then we exit the tunnels at Queen's Park. One job you just shift, spray painting the yellow paint in the Glasgow subway over the Danger Live rail. When it says you're speeding on Bakerloo, as soon as you see the speed limit board, you can go to see this. Interesting, okay. mean, to be fair, I guess with these older trains, you don't have too much in the way of tracking the automated systems, and therefore, yeah, there's no real way to kind of manage your speeds. Oh yeah, there's a railway around the line. It goes from the beach over to the car park. It's been there for about 75... Well, this is its 75th anniversary, so... Yeah, it's been there for a little while. They should put lights in tunnel. I mean, what would the point of putting lights in tunnel be, apart from just warming up the tunnel even further? I mean, the reason that London Underground gets so hot, especially in the summer, because the ground underneath London is clay. And what clay does is it absorbs heat. And as a result, after 150 years of soaking up the heat, the clay is now pretty much at its limits, and therefore the heat has nowhere to go. Back when it opens London Underground, it used to actually be a very cold system. Because the clay would absorb all the heat, the temperature would drop and it'd be nice and cool. But as years go by and the clay becomes less effective at absorbing, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter until the point it now, well, now it can't absorb anymore. So, yeah, go a little bit of facts about tunnels and the ground underneath London and why London Underground gets so hot. Glasgow subway cars are modern, but they've probably go back to 1979. So yeah, same age as the D78, which has been replaced in London Underground. They are now converted into mainline trains and should soon be on the Island line as well. They currently run out of, I think it's the Marston line that's on right now, and will soon be on the Isle of Wight. I believe the Welsh trains as well. Transport for Wales. I've bought a couple of them, and will soon be operating in Wales as well. Next station, Maida Vale. You used to drive the Jubilee, aka you press the button, ATO takes control of the train. There, that's awesome. So now on level track at the moment, platforms come up towards the end of the tunnel there. Let's bring back the brakes, or bring back the throttle, sorry, and start doing some light braking. You can see why the 1983 stock was a failure. Yes, 1983 stocks, well, first of all, the doors were, well, they're single doors throughout the train, so they were too small to allow passenger flow to move easily. And ultimately, they failed a lot as well, so they kept breaking down, and as a result, they just weren't economically viable. I believe after the 83, then that's 1992 stock, which goes on the Central Line, and the 1992 stock is the last ever train designed by London Underground Limited themselves. Or at that point, I think it was the London Passenger Transport Board. And so, after that, the latest train is then the 1995 stock on the Northern Line. That was the first tube stock to not be designed by London Underground themselves, but designed by a third-party company. And since then, it's all been third-party since. Why is there airspeed indicator in miles per hour? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Amb. Yeah, with the Bakerloo Line, it's the hands-on driving. There's basically, well, more work to do, that's for sure. A lot more focus you need to put into actually driving these trains. Because the Piccadilly Line, the Bakerloo Line, the Waterloo and City, and, well, that's it really. Those three lines are the only three lines that are fully manual. The subsurface trains are slowly becoming ATO as the S-Stocks get their upgrades. And, well, the Jubilee Line, Northern Lines, Central Line, and, yeah, those, Victoria Line, those are all automatic ATO. I need to start focusing on my braking a bit more rather than, focusing on the chat. Alright, slow train down. Okay, to our halts. Doors open. Passengers board. Doors closed. And let's get going. Next station, Queen's Park. So in just a moment, we should now be leaving the tunnels. On the bottom right there, just behind my head, so you can see where the gradient map is. And so, as you can see, we are going up to 2.1% gradient uphill. In just a moment, we should spot a light at the end of the tunnel. There it is. As we leave the tunnels, we sound the whistle. I believe there is supposed to be a whistle board here, but I'm not quite sure if it's something that either they've missed, or at least in this section you don't sound the whistle. But normally when trains go in and out of tunnels or in and out of cuttings underground, you are meant to sound the whistle on underground trains. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong with that. I'm sure you could confirm that for me in the chat. Yeah, we'll be alright. Doors open. Not in that section, you don't. Oh, okay. Fair enough, my mistake. Right, well, now that we are out of the tunnel, a chance to actually see the train from the outside now. Now we are in our in our London Underground uniform. Let's close the doors and let's get going. Bakerloo Line, no. So it's the Piccadilly line that goes to Heathrow, not the Bakerloo. The Bakerloo line goes from Elephant Castle to Harrow Wealdstone via... Why are we not going? Oh, don't you dare tell me. Ah, yeah, so what's happened here is there's no power on the train right now. At least it should be, because the third rail is making contact with the live wire. But, that's... Right, what I'm going to do here, try and get the train moving again. So, one thing that hasn't been quite so well simulated is the rail gap, because the train is still getting power from all the other carriages, but as far as the train's concerned right now, it's not receiving any power. Oh, okay. I did not know about the window. Gosh, I should have you doing the stream yourself, Scott. You have train to mod yourself, you can take over. Okay, I did not know about the window. So the window has to be locked for the train to be in motion. Okay, I thought it was the fact that... Because, well, I see right there, there's a gap in the rail, which indicates on the other side, and essentially what that means is there's no power in that section of track, and therefore the train will start coasting along without any power. But because the underground trains have the shoe on every single track, on every single carriage, it shouldn't have any problems in terms of... So right now, there's a long gap between the track, and therefore here there will be some experience of using power. So you can see the lights inside the cab will flash on and off. I'm just going way too fast now as well. So the lights now back on, there is power in the train. And so that's just a gap in between the electric rail, but I didn't know about the window locks. Alright, let's make our way now towards Kensal Green, which is our next station. Feels like you're playing it every day. To be fair, that is true. In your case, you could just, well, you are sitting in the cab, driving up and down the line every day. Let's get with newer trains. No, so the Bakerloo Line only operates the 1972 stock, and until the new tube for London becomes a thing, which I believe has now been approved, but TfL still can't afford them. Yeah, the Bakerloo Line will definitely be running on old for a couple more months. Couple more years even. Same as the Piccadilly Line, which will also be receiving the new tube for London. Oh boy, we've got an underground signaller here now. I now feel really underqualified to be doing this right now. We've got a Bakerloo driver, 2 signallers on the stream. We've got a couple of engineers as well, one over on the Glasgow Railway. Yeah, the shed at Queen's Park is not a nice bit of infrastructure. And the fact that you have passenger trains running through it as well, it's not a nice bit of railway. Probably the ugliest bit of London Underground. To be fair, the entire section north of Queen's Park is just old. It's all Watford DC line, and even with London Overground taking over, it's just old. It needs upgrading, new facilities, new everything. Alright, doors open. There's a bit of a step down for passengers, but looks like they're managing it no problem. And again, despite the fact it's 8:15, I don't think there's quite an 80-minute gap between services on the Bakerloo Line. But hey, it is what it is. Right, doors closed. Let's get going. Now, if you're surrounded by TfL staff, just give you a short pass of the whistle. I've been to Elephant Castle 3 years ago. I've never actually been to Elephant Castle station myself. I've never really been in the area. I've had no reason to travel to it. Yes, so new train mods out. We have the Bakerloo Line, the ICE from Köln to Aachen, and for those on the console, you now also get the CSX Heavy Haul, now known as Sandpatch Grade. Next station, Wealdstone Junction. At this stage, you're also now sharing the line with Watford DC, which is the line that goes from Euston to Watford Junction. Though now part of the London Overground, and operated on with capital stars. At some point, yes, I will be doing the ICE later. I'm going to do 2 separate streams, one for the Bakerloo Line and then one for the German. I do live in London, and so I've got some basic local knowledge, but if you wanted to have a listen, or have a proper chat, about half the people in the chat right now are actual TfL staff, slowly judging me with the way I drive. If you could do that, Scott, that would be an experience that, for me, would last a lifetime, and so I would genuinely be up for that. Why do we do that? Who knows? Who knows? To be fair, most, if not all, TfL staff I know are genuinely kind people to talk to. There's a couple of them at the Right Supply though who operate. So we've got a Bakerloo Line driver, and we've got a couple of station people as well at the Right Supply Depot. Also a couple of mainline drivers as well. And yeah, most TfL staff I've spoken to, more than pleasant. Very, very nice people. And hopefully one day I'll get a chance to join them. Just waiting for those applications to come in because, well, my 6 months of failed application has now come to an end. The problem is, all of a sudden, it's now a terrible time to join any form of transport companies. So we'll see what the future brings. Hey, the Metropolitan Line. What's about it? I don't know, there was any hate for the Mets. Right, next station is Hosden. In a couple of moments, we'll then go underneath the tunnels, underneath the West Coast Main Line, and appear out on the other side. So that then takes us onto the approach into Watford Junction, not Watford Junction, Wembley Central. Wembley Central Station actually having quite a few upgrades in the last couple of years. It used to be rather small station, small platforms, small facilities, nothing there. But a couple of years ago, alongside the Wembley Stadium upgrades, they've now rebuilt the entire station. And since the early 2010s, it's definitely quite a nice station. Yes, this is the Unreal Engine 4.5. And hot. Yep, using Facecam today. Since, well, Train Sim World is not so CPU heavy, and therefore running the Facecam doesn't cause me to lag out. I don't know why my webcam is so bad with CPU, but it does it. When you talk and they ask line you drive, I just laughing at the nice new trains. Hey, to be fair, me personally, I always prefer the A-stock. As a passenger, the seats are more comfy, they're a lot more fun to ride. Okay, slightly slower, but there's something about the A-stocks which I just absolutely adore. So many experts here. Like I say, I feel super underqualified now. I've seen the TfL simulator. Let me guess, Mutsnut, you're a train line driver? I'm sure as soon as we have a Piccadilly line driver on the chat, you'll know exactly who one of the people I know are. I believe the train sim actually no, because the official train sim used by TfL, that's its own proprietary. But if you go to the TfL Museum at Acton, they have a simulator there. I believe that one's based on BVE. But graphically this is sublime, but doesn't quite simulate a lot of the real life stuff that you may be dealing with as a tube driver. Next station, Stonebridge Park. Yeah, the A-stocks were very, very good trains. Oops. Yeah, it needs to be changed. For some reason the main whistle is linked to the low whistle, the depot whistle, while the low whistle is linked to the high. It's backwards on the Bakerloo. Alright, start slowing down, and to our right, we should now spot Wembley Stadium. A long selection process. Oh yes, so TfL no longer do any external driver applicants. They haven't done any since 2008 because the job is so desirable, and therefore lots of people now apply for it. When you go back 30-40 years, London Underground was one of the least desirable companies to work for. Nobody wanted to work for them, to the point that they actually had to go out to Jamaica to hire foreign workers to come to the UK and actually work for TfL. But as the years go on and things get better in terms of driver conditions and staff conditions, it's now such a desirable company to work for that external applicants are so rare, everything's now done from internal. So yeah, getting into London Undergrounds these days is a very, very long process. But if you do, you are very well rewarded for it. Tomorrow we'll be doing Flight Simulator. DRTO. Very nice. Right, so now what we're going to do is go underneath the ground and make a left-hand turn. And what we're going to do is cross over the West Coast Main Line. So to our left, you have the Avanti West Coast and West Midlands trains. We'll go underneath for a bit, come back the other side, and then we'll be over on the left-hand side of that. Is there a sim that doesn't exist but I think should? I'm not too sure, because Bus Sim covered by OMSI. We have Train Sim World and Train Simulator for trains. There's plenty of flight sims around. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say there's too many sims out there that don't exist, because they all do. There are liveries now for Flight Sim 20. Some people have made them. At some point I might even drop a link to it at some points. Enter station fast. I mean, we've got a very short distance to go. There's a platform now at Watford Junction. And braking is a relatively quick process. Always want to be a tube driver and on heavy rail. I mean, I've always wanted to work in the railways, but always failed the application stage, so again, we'll see what the future does. Volunteering certainly got me closer to that dream of actually working the railways. And we'll see what the future brings for me going forward. What's a direct train operator? I did not go through stations. Ah, right, okay, yes, direct train operator. That makes sense. Is there a train driver who hates their job? I don't think any train driver particularly hates their job. I mean, the big thing with train drivers is that initially it's super exciting. You're a train driver, but after a couple of months where you're basically doing up and down the exact same line, it does lose its shine, but I don't think there's any train driver who particularly dislikes driving trains. It loses its shine, but it's not hated by any means. Doors closed, and let's get going. Oh yeah, the level of detail of these models are phenomenal. It's a very pretty simulator, this. Very pretty indeed. Apart from the Köln and Bakerloo, since the other day, this is my first. I can imagine. Everybody talks about Westinghouse brakes. You don't use it. Use the master controller, please. Traction brake control. Next station, North Wembley. We're not too far now from Watford Junction. So after the service, I think we'll start with a London Depot service. London Depot or Queen's Park? You guys decide. What will we do next? London Depot or Queen's Park? What outside London start? I mean, I've got no particular favourite side. I mean, I know that starting at London Depot, we're most likely going to go to Queen's Park. Or starting at Queen's Park, we're most likely going to go to Elephant and Castle. So I don't mind which side we start. Down to where do you guys want to see? And we've driven through Queen's Park, so perhaps we'll go through London Depot and have a look at some of the scenery around that. It's quite an interesting depot, London. London Road is pretty much squeezed into the heart of the city. It's a tiny little area. It's just full of railway tracks that go straight out into one tunnel. Just outside of... It's not Oxford Circus. I think it's Waterloo it goes into. Waterloo. Next station, South Kenton. Queen's Park, sure thing. Yeah, that's the thing. During a train sim, everyone asks, am I a train driver? during a flight sim, everyone asks me, are you a pilot? In reality, I'm a marketer. I do marketing, I do social media, I do back-end database support. I'd certainly like to go into railways as a career. I mean, it's a lot easier in terms of actually going into aviation, but at the moment, I do marketing and back-end database support. Doors open. Passengers boarding and disembarking. In just a second. Doors close. We need a back-end database support sim. Trust me, that would not be a very fun simulator unless you want to watch SQA 30 minutes at a time. SQL, it's the most basic of all languages, but oh boy. Right, next station and our penultimate stop, Kenton. And then after Kenton, we reach our final station of Harrow and Wealdstone. I'm not sure which I prefer more. I mean, I enjoy flight sim for different reasons why I enjoy train sim, and so I'm happy to do both. But yeah, I like the two sims for different reasons. There's no Southern Service London Victoria, Henry. There's only a very select number of routes, but on this stream we are going to be dedicated to just the Bakerloo Line. Later on, we'll then do some Köln to Arkven with the IC and Talent 2, and then tomorrow we're back in Flight Sim. You don't need PlayStation Plus, no. You can buy the game standalone. It costs £24.99 in UK. Local prices do apply, but yes, £24.99. You get the Bakerloo, you get the American freighters, and the German high speed. Yeah, Kenton Station, probably the station that I come to the most. And usually ride it between Kenton and Watford Junction. You're in school, Nors. Get off, you should be studying. Learn. Learn for the future, and perhaps one day you'll be a real train driver, and not stuck here playing computer games, pretending that you're one. Alright, stores closed, let's get going. And there we are, our final station, Harrow and Wealdstone. So we'll put into station, we'll empty the train out, and then we will pull into the sidings at the end of the platform. If you're still there, Scott, what would be the easiest way to get to you? Email, Facebook DMs? What would be the easiest way to get to you? Nope, this train does not go to Stratford. This train goes between Harrow and Wealdstone and Elephant and Castle. The closest we get to Stratford would be at Wealdstone Junction, where you can then change to the London Overground, which then goes to Stratford. This line in particular, there are no tracks that lead to Stratford. Thank you, Cruiser, much appreciated. Down the game on Steam. Enjoy it, Bradley. I mean, I've certainly enjoyed it. It is fun. It is a lot of fun. Right, not too far now. Past that bridge, and the platforms will start. Instagram DM. What's your Instagram? And I'll drop you a message. Or perhaps not drop you a message. If you've got me on Instagram, it's at DrawyahYT. And I'll probably spot your name somewhere in there. Right, let's slow train down. Open doors. This station will now be emptying the train out, so passengers must disembark as this train terminates here. As soon as we're clear to depart, we get green aspects, and then pulling into the siding just as the platform ends. To be fair, it is a ghost town right now, and so I don't think we even have any passengers on this train, so it's jumping back in. Let's close the doors. Wait for the green aspects to clear us. Ah, window. Please remember the window. Nope, cannot go to Stratford. There you go, proceed at restricted speed, so nice and slowly we shall enter the siding. There you go, restricted speed is at 10 miles per hour, so nice and slowly. Cut the throttle. Why no people? Because this is the end of the line. Trains terminates here, and therefore we now put into the siding. I don't think that's right trains in real life, there's no chat room to answer. No West Hampstead, that's the Jubilee line, and the Metropolitan line passes through it, but no, not on this line. Talk to yourself, when you answer back, it's no time to worry. And stop. And there we have it. Nope. Too far. Come on, Dovetail. Why would you let me stop? There's a very specific stop requirements that you need on this. There we go. Now we're close enough to the buffers to stop. There we go. Jet's complete. And now we have it. So, slightly behind schedule, but ultimately, I wouldn't call that terrible for a first Bakerloo Line run. Up to level 12 on the profile, level 9 on the Bakerloo, level 11 on the Mark 272, a golden medal to bring it to an end. Right, let's go jump over to Queen's Park, shall we? So, back to the main menu. And let's go jump into our next service. Explore. Not scenarios, so scenarios we'll be doing once a day for the next couple of days. This time, we shall drive in the prototype livery of the 1972 stock. So this is something that I created in the livery editor. And therefore, something nice to drive. So we'll drive in the prototype colours. We'll start from Queen's Park to... we'll go for a later service. Queen's Park to Elephant and Castle. I can't believe they cut out the Jubilee Line platform right across Bakerloo and Baker Streets. I mean, I'm 21 years old. How old do you think I look? Right, 201 Delta-17 from Queen's Park to Elephant Castle. We're departing at 1602. And, well, yeah, 72 stock, 7 coaches, all standard stuff. Let's drop the control key in. Sets the saloon lighting. Destination display to Elephant and Castle. And let's hit the train in. So in goes the direction selector, down to Inter, train control into off, and silence the audible warning. Train to forward, and nice and slowly let us enter the platforms. We got 35. Gosh, okay. So 10 miles per hour, slowly into the platform. And let us bring our train to a halt. Nope, we do not go to Watford. This train terminates at Harrow Wealdstone. That's as far north as you go. Doors unlocked. Only takes a few seconds on the platform, but we will manage it just in case there's a few latecomers. Lock the doors. And let's go head over to our next station at Cumberland Park. To be fair, I don't know why everyone's now so fussed about my age all of a sudden. We need a 2080 Ti for this game? No, not at all. I'm using right now a 1660, and yeah, 1660 runs, it's not a problem at all. This is Train Sim World 2. It came out today, and it features the Bakerloo Line ICE car column to Arcton, and the sand patch grade. That's to 35 miles per hour, so we'll bring the train to off. We are going downhill right now, so a little bit of braking to manage our speed. And here comes our first station. And stop. Inside doors, and let's monitor the platform. It's got a few passengers boarding and disembarking. Of course, it's never a down and around when no one's blocking the doors. You know this is authentic when that happens. Let's close those doors and let's get going. Yes, so Train Sim World 2 will be replacing Train Sim World. All previous DLCs that you bought for the original game, though, you do get to keep in a new one. So, you're not losing out on anything. You do get a new sim engine, a new world, and one that's pretty cool. Next station, Maida Vale. Have I played Transport Fever 2? No, I have not. I've heard good things, but I don't own it myself. That bottle's ASMR. Everyone also keeps telling me that my voice is perfect for ASMR. I mean, I think it's... I don't have a issue with like people enjoying it and all that, but just actually recording that stuff for me just a bit weird. I don't know. I never understood ASMR. White noise I can understand, but ASMR, there's something that I don't quite understand about it. Right, bring us to our halts. And open the right hand side doors. Doors closed. And let's get going. Next station, Warwick Avenue. I don't think anyone understands it until it's a guy 50 minutes. Like, I'm not sure if I'll give that a watch or not. Alright, next station, I say Warwick Avenue. Seems to be doing alright for time at the moment, but I'm almost certain now by the time we finish our service, we'll be a couple of minutes behind. What I think Train Mod 2, I think it's rather good. It's rather good. In terms of actually simulating these routes, it's doing a fab job at it. I mean, it's got the approval of about 50 different TFL staff currently in my YouTube chat right now, so it must be doing something right, that's for sure. I enjoy it, it looks good, it feels alright, and just the authenticity, especially of the underground. It's definitely the best underground sim right now on the market. World of Subways 2 is good, sorry, World of Subways 3 is good, but it has its issues with World of Subways 3. I mean, for one, it's outdated, and two, Notting Hill Gate Station is still the wrong way around, but I don't know, I like this. I like this a lot. Right. No passengers board and disembark. In a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds even, we should depart for our next station. Welcome Diamond, how are you doing? How many lines are there on the underground? I don't actually know how many exactly there are. There are 11 lines on the underground. 11 lines. Our next station is Paddington. I have got Euro Truck Simulator. I used to actually feature it quite a lot on this channel. Yeah, good point. I'll move the chat at the next station so you guys have a bit more of a view of the sim. Lights are currently off in the cab, as they're supposed to be. The passenger lights are turned on. Welcome to the channel, Peter. How are you doing? Right, do that. Open the doors. And quickly move the chat slightly so that you guys can then see the... There's that better. Let me know if that's better. Right, lock doors. Let's get going. Welcome, Brandon. How are you doing? This is the best I can relate to the lines driving the west part of the job. The first train out of Elegance, and they park train tunnel and Hefner. Yeah, so at Elephants and Castle, to get to your first train, you do need to actually walk down the tunnel in order to get to the loco, because there are two stable sidings behind the platform. That train has to, well, at the end of the day, they park it out at the back. So you walk down the track, get to your cab. I mean, getting in train must be awkward as well. I mean, given that there's no front door, or at least the front door in the train is locked, you can't open this one. And so you have to walk in through the side, and so I can imagine it probably gets quite tight in the morning. Alright, next station, Edgware Road. I like the underground elements, yes. It's a very nicely built line. and one that does feel like driving on the driving on the underground. And halts. Doors open. Passengers make their move. All looks clear. Doors close. Next station, Marylebone. Yeah, so I think that's down to the actual tunnels themselves, because if you go to our subsurface lines, they're also square as well. The square tunnels that you see are usually down to cut and cover. So cut and cover tunnels where they dig a trench in the floor, build a station, build a track, and then cover it with a roof. The round tunnels, that's done by a tunnel boring machine, and so, or back in these days, would be a Great West Head shield. A Great Westinghouse shield. So they'd have the shields, they'd have men with shovels digging through, and then they push it slightly, do the process, push it, do the process, and again until the tunnel has been built. And so the deep level tunnels are going to be round in shape, while the cut and cover tunnels are generally more boxed in shape. And so that's the reason, I guess, behind those two different shapes. One's deep, the other one's sub. Check out the roadmap. Yes, there's a roadmap out right now. Future routes on the way. Ones I'm certainly interested in are the what's it called? You've got the Island line coming from Rivets. You've also got another line coming from Rivet. I can't remember if it's in Austria or Switzerland, but there's another one coming out. And also the Southeastern Main Line, which includes the Class 3995 Javelin, which is going to be a very good train. Also, 313. The 313 is on the way and will be available soon as well. There's a couple of good trains coming on the roadmap. I am very excited for the future of Trains Mod 2. Some very good stuff on the way. Next station, Baker Street. I did actually say we're going to have a look at the Sherlock Holmes mural, so we'll have a look at that. And so, they're either side of the roundels at the station. Open doors. Let's be quick to have a look. First of all, let's see if I can squeeze through. No, I can't. So, the Sherlock Holmes mural. Basically, it's the head of Sherlock Holmes made out of tiny little heads of Sherlock Holmes. It's a very, very pretty design, that. And it's all of the boards here at Baker Street. I like it. Now, number one skill of any train driver: teleport. Every train driver can teleport to their train seats. That way, if you do need to leave the train for whatever reason, use the toilets at the end of the platform, you can just jump back into your cab and carry on. Alright, let's get going. Next station, Regent's Park. There will be new maps. New maps are currently on the way. And so if you have a look at the roadmap of Dovetail Games Trains and Worlds, they have released the next couple of routes they're currently making, and those will be out in the very near future. A lot of work's gone into Trains and Worlds too, and I'm definitely excited to to be a part of that and actually stream some of the new routes coming forwards. I mean, so far, I've done every single TSW route on day one when it released. I do plan to continue streaming these as time goes forward as well. Every day we'll be doing one of the scenarios in the sim, so start off with London Underground, and then afterwards we'll do the ICE. So over the next 10 days, expect daily videos. And then also, I'll be doing my normal flight sim streams on top of that as well. Although flight sim, I'll probably at some point go back from being daily and go back to doing it 3 times a week like I used to do. Because as fun as flight sim is, I do need to start getting some sleep. It's been about 3 weeks now since I last went to bed before midnight. I am definitely starting to get fatigued from it, so we'll see. Right, close the doors and let's get going. Next station, Oxford Circus. The ICE line is from Köln to Aachen, so the top speed is 250 kilometers an hour, which is around 160 miles, yes. Pilot training is very expensive. If you're doing a CPL, expect to pay around £80,000 to £100,000. Euston to Liverpool in the Virgin Atlantic train. Well, let's break that comment down, shall we? So, first of all, it's not Virgin Atlantic train, it's Virgin Trains West Coast. Secondly, Virgin Trains no longer exists. It's now known as Trenitalia. Avanti West Coast Trenitalia, so yes, Cologne, yes, it's Cologne to Aachen. It's the ICE 3M, and it runs at 160 miles per hour, 250 kilometers an hour between the two cities. This evening, so we'll do a few runs of the London Underground, and then later we shall do the ICE. So stay tuned for more. I do plan to go for a few hours today. People are walking right on the yellow line there. I did not like that. Go fix that display there. There we go. 7 out of 26. We're almost done with the monitors here in the London Underground. A few of these are black screen, and therefore we just give it a knock and it comes to life. Right, let's get going. Next station, Piccadilly Circus. Welcome back, Matt. How are you? Why do Central Line trains drive so fast? I mean, Central Lines aren't the fastest train. The Metropolitan Line is the fastest. The reason that these trains feel so fast is because you're so low to the ground. If you ever drive at like 5 miles per hour, you are... I'm not sure I can try, but the lower to the ground you are, the faster things look. I mean, at 5 miles per hour, if your head's along the ground, it looks really fast, but from like a car height, it looks fine. I mean, look at an aeroplane. You're at 30,000 feet, it's going 600 miles per hour. From the air, it looks like you're going really slow. But if you're doing 600 miles per hour on the ground, it looks really fast. And so, height plays a big part. Central Line is one of the lowest trains on the underground, and therefore, it looks faster when you ride it. In reality, you're going about 50 miles per hour in it. It's not too fast. The fastest train is the Metropolitan Line. I think it has a running speed of 80 miles per hour between Wembley and Finchley Road. And if you're lucky, you can even catch a service that goes from Harrow Hill to Finchley Road and skip Wembley altogether. Those services are always a good one, you get there quicker. Piccadilly Circus with the open up the tunnel. Yes, actually, this one does go to Finchley Road. Nope, it doesn't. It goes to Baker Street. Finchley Road is the Jubilee Line and Metropolitan Line, sorry. It's Baker Street this one goes to. it a few seconds, and then we continue to depart. Where is the motorbike? The motorbike's outside in the road. I live in London, so you do get the odd land vehicle going by. Right, let's get going. Swiss mountain trains, very low and slow and high. So you run the very train faster than that. Right, next station, Charing Cross. Traffic London's the worst. I mean, it can get pretty bad, but I do normally use public transport, and therefore I try and avoid as much traffic as possible. Nope, there's no Finchley Road. The Bakerloo Line does not go to Finchley Road. Collisions can happen, but if you do pass the signal of danger, if you do spad the train, it will mainly stop you from going further, so it is possible, but very rare. There we go. And while I'm here, have a look at the display there again. Right, doors closed. I mean, driving any train, I guess, is repetitive, but, well, that's what we're here for, you're simulating trains, so I enjoy it. I enjoy it. What cab are you driving that costs 15 pence for 5 miles? I want to live where you live, bar. Over here, going 5 miles costs you like £50. No, this does not go to Liverpool Street either. Liverpool Street is Hammersmith City, Circle, Metropolitan and Central lines, as well as national rail services to Stansted Airport and Norwich. Embankments. Yeah, I like the graphics in Train Sim World. It does look rather good. Right, doors closed, and let's get going. Next station, Waterloo. Currently running at a solid 60 FPS at the moment. It's a very smooth sim to run this. In the UK we use miles per hour. Miles per hour. Yes, we do use meters and centimetres, but we do use miles per hour. Oops, there's a bit of a bad stop there. As long as we're in the platform still. Right, doors open. Not long now to the end of the road. Currently at Waterloo. We'll be stopping next at Lambeth North and then Elephant's Castle, where the train terminates. To be fair, measuring feet and meters aren't too difficult. 1 meter is about 3 foot, and so yeah, 1 meter about 3 foot. It's not too difficult to convert the two. Right, Lambeth North. Start slowing train down. And doors open. Is there a gap there? I could probably squeeze by it. Because once again, we've got a monitor to try and fix. Too little of a gap. Can't make it. That one stays broken. The 2 displays there. Right, doors closed. Sit down, and let's get going. Our next station is Elephant Castle, where the train terminates. To be fair, there is only one country in the world that measures altitude in meters, and that is Russia. If you land to fly in Russia, you measure altitude in meters, not feet. The rest of the world, you use feet. And China. Start slowing down in a couple of moments. We're not doing too bad actually. We're only a few seconds behind schedule. It's currently 16:30:15. We're meant to arrive at 16:30:29. So, in terms of keeping to a schedule, this is by far my best run yet. Quick on the doors, quick on the acceleration, quick on the brakes. I make it from start to finish, relatively on time. Slow train down to around 10 miles per hour as we enter the platform. Straight and level track, so there's no real issue with the actual speed there slowing down. And so slowly towards the end of the platform. Alright, after this, I think we'll now start at London Depot, and we'll do a run down the trip to down to Queen's Park. And stop. Doors open. And there we have it. This train terminates here. So at this stage, we'll now be closing the train down and getting ready to start up the other side, ready for the return journey back to either Queen's Park or Harrow Wealdstone. Just close the doors. And then we should come to our mission end. And there we have it. So it took us 30 minutes and 1 second, driven 7 miles, 102 yards walked, and got our gold medal at the end of that. It was a pretty good run overall. We did alright keeping the speed limits for the most part. A few moments where we went a bit over, but ultimately not a bad run by any means. Alright, so let's jump over to the main menu and let's do a run from London Roads Depot. Let's explore that, go to timetable. We'll add a little bit of rain. I think rains will be quite cool. A bit of clouds, a little bit of wind, a little bit of wetness. So adhesion now will start to slow down a little bit. We'll go for the tube stock colours. We'll go London Roads Depot. We'll find a later service. If there even is one, to be fair, they do take them out quite early. So, okay, early morning, London Roads Depot. Oh, we've got Stonebridge Park we could do as well. I haven't done Stonebridge yet. That's also an option available. Yeah, we'll go London Road. Afterwards, we will be playing the Köln to Aachen route. That will come after a few more runs of the Bakerloo, but we will be doing some more, yes. Right, the 240-1 London Road Depot run. So bring this train to service, we start at London Road and then we finish at Queen's Park. Have a quick look, we do stop at stations en route, so we'll be setting up as a passenger train. Let's get the train ready to go. So in, on, passenger lights active, running to Queen's Park. And let's put the reverser in. So that's to inter. Sets the brakes to off. Silence the alarm. Sets the intermittent mode now to forwards. And let's get the train going. Sets to forward. That would help, wouldn't it? What have I done wrong here? Off and release. Intermittent. Control keys in and set. Doors are currently closed. Blue light's active to prove that. Train's in forward. There's no power comes to this train. What have I done wrong? Let's restart it. I've done something to this train. I'm not quite sure what that was. I should have started there. So unless anyone spotted me doing something wrong, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Is control switch on? It was on. So control key in, sets to on. We'll set the saloon lights and destination to Queen's Park, since that's where we terminate. Back in the seats. Direction in, sets to intermittent. Set the reverser to the off position. Silence the alarm. Train forward. There we go. This time we're going. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Obviously I've gone pressed the wrong button or something. Alright, nice and slowly, let us now depart. And so it's 5 miles per hour now to Waterloo. 5 miles per hour the entire length of the journey. We'll cut off the wipers now since we're in the tunnel. And we'll hold that until we arrive. So we've got a couple of meters to go. Waterloo just being over here. But as soon as we enter the main track, that's when things start to speed up for us. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, Train Sim World. I do enjoy it. It's a very, very nicely built sim, this. And so I think we'll make this our last service in the Bakerloo. And then we'll see what we'll do about the IC if we do it tonight. We might even do it later next week, but we'll see how things go. Oops, I'll go shunt mode. Trying to slow down as much as possible. It really is a case of balancing. There we go. Go up to 10 now, but it really is a case of just balancing the off and release and the hold 1 brakes, since you don't go too fast. On what is quite a steep bit of track, this 3.3% gradient. It's quite steep, very steep going downhill. I can imagine climbing as well. It does take a little bit of power, especially in the Bakerloo Line train. What's the difference between this and 2020? So, Train Sim World 2020 is the original Dovetail Simulator, while Train Sim World 2 is the new one. So this is the next step in Train Sim World Simulation. So going forwards, all content will now be released for this one. As you're aware, rules are soon. As soon as you see a speed change sign, you can do it, as the car's passed. Yes, so with the underground, as soon as the speed limit sign's in front of you, you can upgrade. But on the main line, it's once the rear of the train's passed, then you can upgrade your, or increase your speeds to next level. So, yes, that's how it works. We should now be entering the main line. Well, main running rails of the underground. So as soon as the rear of the train is on the full track, we should see the speed limit jump up to around 30 miles per hour. Use our speeds, and let's get going. It's going a bit too fast there. Is Jeff watching? Probably not. I mean, I've got his book, Tube Station Trivia, but I very much doubt Jeff Marshall's watching. He'd most likely be playing this himself. Slow train down. And let's bring it to the end. Really enjoying trade streams. Glad you bought the pre-launch discount. I'm glad you are, Tim. I'm glad you are. Just like I say, tomorrow we shall be going back to Flight Simulator. For now, we'll enjoy a bit of Train Sim World. Does Game of Tunnel of France? No, not yet. Eurostar is not yet on Train Simulator or Train Sim World. I don't think... Is there even any train sim that has included Eurostar yet? I don't think there is. Small platform. I mean, most if not all of the platforms on the underground are pretty much the same length as the trains themselves. It's a very small, very tight-knit network. I just realised we're actually departed the station early. We should have waited for a few seconds. So the signaller at this point will now be chasing me down. Next station Embankment. We're going to be nice and early to it at least. Right, we're going to hold at Embankment for a few moments before we continue our next station. What's up, Bradley? What's wrong? Right, stepping change to the end of the platform. And let's bring it to our halt. Open doors. So after the Embankment, we've got Charing Cross, Piccadilly Circus, Oxford Circus, Regent's Park, Baker Street, Marylebone, Edgware Road, Paddington, Warwick Avenue, Maida Vale, Kilburn, Queens, and then Kensal Green, Warsden, House. Oh, so we're going all the way to Watford, are we? Okay, fair enough. Sorry, not Watford, Harrow Wealdstone. I thought it was Queen's Park Terminator. Better change that quickly. Harrow Wealdstone, there we go. Next station, Charing Cross. It's going to be Williswood there, so cut back on the power. I need to remember that the wheels are wet, as we are currently outside stable before starting the service, so we need to be a bit more careful about speeding up. Adhesion, certainly being a little bit low right now, and therefore just need to be more careful with the throttle. Don't put too much power in before we basically start slipping the wheels and start causing ourselves any more problems. and stop. Open doors right. Let's get this screen working. It's 9 out of 20. Halfway there now with the screens. All looking good. Back in the seats. Lock the doors. And let's get going. Nope, no flight sims today. Using train sims today. Tell you what, I might even find it helpful to stick the train in rate switch 1. As at a lower rate, it allows for slightly better acceleration and slightly better adhesion when passing on the wet track. Wet track, wet wheels, makes sense. Am I a real train driver? No, I'm not. Nowhere near train driving. Right, doors open left. Welcome to Piccadilly Circus. Station, Oxford Circus. But yes, Scott here is a real Bakerloo Line driver. So if you have any questions about the line, then do have a chat with Scott. He's been relatively cool answering the questions in the chat. I think it's been a rather good stream so far, especially with people talking about the mainline railways, and so I've enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed it. This is available on PC now, so the Train Sim World for PC came out at 6 o'clock today. So Train Sim World 2 is now available on PC, Steam, PC, Xbox and PlayStation. And therefore you can now download it and play it for yourselves. Bakerloo Line, Köln to Aachen, and then CSX Heavy Haul, now known as Sandpatch Grade. Well worth it. I think it's really good. I definitely think it's really good. I'm not sure about Xbox Game Pass. No, is it not available on Game Pass? No. So the original Train Simulator is on Game Pass. Train Simulator 2020 is on Game Pass, but not the new one. Alright, so passengers board and disembark. So far so good. Let's get going. I'll probably switch back to rates 2 now, since at this point the wheels would have dried up, and therefore adhesion should no longer be a problem. But, yes. If we do start having wheel slip, we'll go back to rate 1. There you go. So we're still slipping there. We'll go to rate 1, and just allow for slightly better adhesion, slightly better leaving. I could just use a lower throttle, but where's the fun in that? So at least with rate 1, it's a slower acceleration, and therefore allows the train to gain a better grip of the track there. We just need to remember that when it comes to trains, It's a metal wheel on metal rail, so adhesion, there's no grip, no adhesion, the train space start rolling. When there are anything affecting the track, whether it's leaves or ice, water, anything at all, it makes the adhesion much worse and therefore leaves you struggling with grip. And therefore, a slightly less powerful roll usually works a little bit nicer on the leave. Next station, Regent's Park. Thank you, Inors, much appreciated. Let's slowly bring our train to a halt now. Perfect. Doors open. Now passengers do their thing. I should be alright for mods Mozart, but thank you for offering. Yeah, rule one of being a mod. Don't ask to be a mod. Alright, doors closed, and let's get going. Next station, Baker Street. I do like the station here at Baker Street, like I say. The platform layout's nice. And actually, Baker Street as an area, also rather nice as well. It's very affluent, very nice. Also away from the main bit of central London, and therefore totally quieter than other parts as well. If you ever get a chance to visit London, definitely come to Baker Street, and you'll be sure to have a good time. Also, there's a very good song named after Baker Street as well. It's a trumpet piece, and it's a classic. What's his name? Jerry Rafferty was the guy who created Baker Street. I have to Google that now. I'm sure it's Jerry Rafferty, Baker Street. Yes, Jerry Rafferty. It's a fantastic bit of brass there. Well worth a listen if you don't know what the song is. Although I'm sure you do know it. You probably just haven't put like a name to a tune, but yes, Baker Street. Good song, good place, good road, good bit of London. And the home of a world famous detective. Yes, that was the last song in Grand Theft Auto, because of course, I've had to bring a Grand Theft Auto reference into the sim somehow. Everybody introducing Grand Theft Auto into this stuff. London's a beautiful city. I like London. I like London. It's not a perfect city, but it is a peaceful, well, not peaceful always, but it's a nice place to live. How much game? It's £24.99. £24.99, although local currencies do come into effect. How realistic is this graphically? I mean, yeah, Scott will have the best answer because he does this for a living. Doors open. Yeah, peaceful. Not going to happen. What happens with flights in 2020? I mean, what happens with it? It's still there. Still normal. Right. Close doors. Let's get going. Next station, Edgware Road. What liveries does Train Smart 2 have? You get the basic stocks for everything, and also a livery editor that lets you edit your own colours as well. But liveries, you don't get too much out of just what the trains actually look like in their real world colours. Why don't I play it? Because I do more than just flight sim, I do train sim as well. And Train Sim Mod 2 released today, and therefore it makes sense to showcase in the sim as well today. Doors open. So, not long now until the tunnels. We've got 1, 2, 3 more stations, sorry, 4 more stations underground. Exit tunnel, enter Queen's Park, and do need to remember that it is raining outside, and so we do need to be very careful when it comes to our braking and accelerating before we start slipping down the tracks. Next station, Paddington. Change for the Great Western Main Line and Circle Line, and Hammersmith City. It's an interesting station layout here at Paddington because you have 2 separate platforms, 2 separate stations for the Hammersmith City and Circle lines. Then you've also got the Bakerloo Line that kind of just sticks in between them all, as well as the main line station that runs on top. It's quite an interesting layout there. Slowing down a little bit as we are going through a slightly tight turn here. Uh, 30 miles per hour is not the maximum. Once we are on the surface and running along the Watford DC line, we do go up to about 40-45, but you do need to bear in mind that with these trains now being over 50 years old, they're not as fast as they used to be, and in some cases they are now starting to fall apart, so yeah, speed limits have been limited for the protection basically of the trains themselves. But they can go faster and do go up to 40 at the Watford DC line. Yeah, any issues, any bugs, do create a Zendesk ticket with Dovetail Games, and one of their support members will get back to you. As always when the sim releases, there's always those few little bugs here and there that needs to be squashed, but for the most part, it's been a smooth release for Train Sim Worlds. You look at Microsoft Flight Simulator, there's been a fair few issues with downloading this platform and a load of server connection issues and all that. It takes time to release the platform, but eventually it all runs quite smooth. Can you see the map? Sure thing. So this is the basic layout of the Bakerloo. Start Elephant Castle, snake through Central London Zone 1, you exit around Queen's Park, and then you go along to Watford DC up to Harrow Wealdstone. So right now, go up to 35 miles per hour line speed. Slightly going uphill now. I'll leave it on shunt mode, the electric, just to keep train moving. In a couple of moments, start braking again for our next station. You can remove dots, you can do that by right clicking. Right clicking removes the dots. And stop. door open. And doors close. It's already out on console. It's out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So if you head over to stores now, you can get it up on console, you can pick this up on PC. It's now available, came out today. What type of microphone I use a Flare-On BM something. It's a fancy, cheap studio mic. It costs a tenner, it's from China, it works basically. Was it Flare-On BM 800 I think it is. I like it, it's got very good audio clarity and it's nice and simple to run. And very, very cheap as well. If you go back to my early videos on this channel, I was actually using my old webcam as a microphone. The audio quality was not great to say the least, but that's what it was like in the early days. Nowadays we're running a lot smoother, a lot cooler. Is it green? It goes to your green screen. Yes, that is the case. And that way, if I was here, you can see it's actually right by my face, but it just kind of hides it behind green screen, so I like it. Yeah, gonna miss the station, I think. Slightly off the braking there. Whoops. Yeah, the actual bit is actually a stolen Radio X head. So if I pop that off, whoops, you can see it's actually a Radio X head. But I don't know, I like it. It does its job. It's gonna sound really horrible now. You guys want ASMR? You get ASMR with this. Yeah, so I'm gonna get back on now. It's gonna be stuck. I'm sure that sounds horrible for you guys. I do apologise. Right, let's get going. Next station, Köln Park. You're deaf now. Was it that bad? At some point I'll go back to that and I'll just listen to it, see how bad it was. I'm not sure what that would have been like, but it sounded bad from outside. Directly on the microphone, I'm sure it was much worse. How much money did I get as a gift from FS and channels? I won't go into specifics of how much I've received, but I will go into what I've been spending it on. So, at some point soon, I will be buying a I'll buy a new desktop computer, one with new modern spec. We'll look at the 30 series cards, and at some point we'll go for a proper brand new PC with upgraded systems. So, as I say, whatever money I get from the channel, I usually put back into the channel. So it'll be like new sim, new game, new upgrades, whatever. And so, with the massive influx we've had recently, I do plan to upgrade everything and start making things a bit nicer. So, I have a lot of people to thank for the recent upgrades, or soon upgrades. I haven't seen the upgrade yet, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but when it does happen, I've got a lot of people to thank for the donations, because the last couple of weeks have really done me it's done me well, and I've been completely blown away the amount of support you've shown. The amount of support, the amount of love, it has truly been phenomenal, and it really won't be forgotten. Alright, halfway there, the monitors. Train looking good. Let's get back into the cab. And let's get going. Do you see the link in the private? I'll check the link in a moment. Interceptor. I'll go have a look. Oh, the aviation shop. Yes. I mean, I don't plan to buy any aviation parts like that just yet. Those are very expensive. I've got nowhere to really put them. But we'll see. Yes, I do remember you back in the 3K days, Nors. I mean, to be fair, when you say back when I had 3K subs, that was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was on 3,400 subscribers. I'm now able to hit 13 at this rate, which is truly phenomenal. It's a great time to be a sim fan. We've got Flight Sim, you've got Train Sim World coming out, you've got so much going on right now. It truly is amazing. and being a simulation channel, I've certainly seen the benefits from it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the content as well. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, so I do thank you all for watching. You are all phenomenal. I was training this. This is the Bakerloo Line 1972 stock. It's currently raining right now, so we'll have the wipers on, and we'll just allow it to get out some of the rain. Hi there, Nick. How are you? How large on the maps? It really depends on the routes. The longest route is the Sandpatch grade, which is about 120 miles. The shortest route is the... Actually, I think it's this one, which is at 14 miles, the Bakerloo Line. Although there will be a shorter route coming soon, and that will be the Islands Line that River Games is currently doing. Islands Line is only about 8 miles in length. And come over steep there, or do you not have a bed to spare? Don't think so, man. I'm not sure if we can fit you here. We are in a Drawyah's house in London right now. We can't do overground services. We can't do southwest trains. The closest we get to that is southern right now. But no, not yet. No stage callouts. Also not a part of the sim. Signal green. Let's get going. So at this point, we now transition from 2 aspect signals that are underground, so green and reds, plus repeaters, to the 3 aspect signals as we now enter the Watford DC line branch. So Watford DC is this track and this track. They both go to Euston, while our train goes to Elephant Castle. So it's here, Queen's Park, where it all merges. We'll travel nice and slowly through the world's ugliest train yards, and then very soon back onto the main line. This is on PC right now. This is on PC. The Train to Wild is also on Xbox and PlayStation, so all 2 consoles plus PC currently out available. In the UK costs £24.99, though local currencies do apply. How long did it take to get my first sub? Back when I did my first Rocket League video, I got my first sub. My very first video was a Rocket League video, and then eventually I branched out to simulation. Simulation seemed to work. Then Dovetail Games Flight Sim World happened, and that's when my channel became relatively large. I mean, it was small, but Flight Sim World was the first time I really started doing simulation. People enjoyed it, and then, yeah, things just kicked off from there. Difference between the original Train Sim World and this Train Sim World. New adhesion effects, new UI, better physics, new routes, new scenarios. There's a few things that are different. New engine as well. So the original Train Sim World uses Unreal 4. This uses Unreal 4.5. So it's more optimized and much better system-wise. Also much more optimized. I'm running now about 50 FPS. We can easily hit 60 without any problems. And of course, Interceptor with the copy and paste hardware chat. You've been doing that all weekend, man. Massive respect for that. Can you map... actually, yes you can. You can map your flight sim throttle with your simulator. You can use the Rail Driver software for it. So the guy that I know actually did that, and it genuinely looks quite interesting in how to do it. Can you decide which tracks to go on? With the scenario editor you can, yes. So, or if you use the switcher route. So for example, if you use CSX Heavy Vehicle and go into the switch yard, you can change the points and decide on which tracks you go on. So it is possible. You just need to make sure you're on a section track which has manual switch points and not automatic ones. Wiper.wav, someone drinking a basketball. I presume you're not the official PC gamer to say that. This is not live weather, no. Live weather right now is quite clear in the UK. It's been a few damp cold days, but right now it is looking quite clear in the UK. doors close? Used to live at Clapham Junction. Sounds good. It's a busy area, that. There's a lot that goes on. I love the echo. The echo in this tunnel's amazing. Right, next station at Wealdstone Junction. I currently play natively at 1080p and also stream at 1080p. So everything you see, 1080p native. There's no resizing, none of that stuff. It's all 1080. Trust me. Especially if you watched my 747 flight last night, that flight did not clear my mind. Oh boy, over China especially, my mind was more active than ever. The aeroplane's a death trap, but when it all works, it is good to clear your mind of it, yes. Yeah, that flight, especially when we hit China, things got relatively interesting with the autopilots. But since it's quite in the middle of the flight, not many people have actually gone and watched that bit back, so when it comes to flight sim streams, make sure you get takeoffs and landings right. People will skip the actual boring bit, the cruise, and therefore anything that happens in the cruise stays in cruise. That's always one of the benefits of doing these long flights. You kind of hides the bad bits in the lesser known bits, the less watched bits. There are tutorials in the sim, yes. You can go through the flight school per se, where it does teach you how to fly the Cessna 152. There is a tutorial in the sim, and it is a rather good one, so you'll be alright. No autopilot on trains. Some trains do have an autopilot per se, automatic train operation, but majority of trains are manually driven, but slowly automated trains are becoming the thing. Next station, Harrow. Yeah, not for those who watch the whole flight, but hey, you guys seem to enjoy it regardless. What's new in Train Squad 2? You get the Bakerloo Line and you get the Köln line, the ICE. You get new UI, new driving physics, new game engine. So, originally used Unreal 4, this uses Unreal 4.5, and a few other works at the back ends just to improve things going forward. So, there's a lot that's similar to the original Train Sim world, but there's a lot as well that has been upgraded to see things run better in the future. I like it. I like it. No worries, Hollis. You take care of yourself. And once again, thank you for your membership. You are a star. I think at the moment you actually are my longest running member. You've been on for about 2 months now, compared to a lot of people who now have recently joined like last week or two. So your support has been amazing, man. Yes, this is England. We are currently in London right now. We are currently in Greater London, currently in North London. This is a real-world replica. Yes, this is the Bakerloo Line that runs from Central London, Elephant and Castle, to North London here in Harrow. There we go. Now that we're on the surface, we are on platforms for a little bit longer, but even then, we are only here for a few seconds before the pass to the next station. So after Queen's Park, where about half the services terminate on the Bakerloo Line, and we share with the Watford DC, trains are a lot more spread out, and therefore trains don't stop for as long at these stations. Is this the best train game? Yes, I'd say that Train Sim World 2 or Train Simulator, it depends on what you want really, but Train Sim World and Train Simulator both are very, very good train sim platforms. You do need to buy Train Sim Mods too. This is being treated as a new platform, but any DLC you bought for Train Sim World 1, you get to keep. So this is part of the legacy packs, and therefore, any DLC you owned before, you get for free in this one. So you buy the platform, but the routes are free. Back tomorrow on Flight Sim. Back tomorrow. Thank you, Jonas. Thank you for the kind words. We're flying right now to Harrow Wealdstone. Just to our right, so you've got Wembley Stadium now coming into view. And the landmarks in the sim are beautiful, especially if you go to Germany. Some of the scenery around Köln and Aachen are just phenomenal. They've gone to a lot of detail with this wild environment. And it's definitely the most realistic. Maybe not the prettiest. I mean, North London's not a pretty area by any means, but definitely the most realistic by a long stretch. Thank you, Lazy Gamer. Much appreciated. Glad you're enjoying it. If you've got issues, Bradley, contact Dovetail Game Support. Unfortunately, nobody here is technical enough to really help you with your missing files. My best bet would be to, well, your best bet would be to go to the Steam property store, right-click Properties, and verify game integrity. If that doesn't work, contact Dovetail Support. Yes, I mean, somebody asked where I was flying to, so flying to Harrow. Next station, Wembley Central. So we're going to go underneath the ground. We're going to cut to the other side of the West Coast Main Line. We shall be on the left-hand side as opposed to the right. I'm not sure if... No, I don't think Train Sim World does failures. Precisely not to the extent of Flight Sim World. Scott is not a Dovetail worker. He's a Transport for London worker. Scott works for London Underground, not for Dovetail Games. So I'm afraid Scott will have even less support than what I could provide you and what Dovetail could support. If you have issues with your simulator, Scott is probably the last person you're going to be wanting to contact. Alright, let's start. Not yet, we'll start slowing the train down in just a couple of moments. I wouldn't say I prefer one over the other. I like Flight Simulator for different reasons to I like Train Simulator. Two different platforms, two very different things. And so, I like them for different reasons. Yeah, the level of detail in Sim is absolutely amazing. I love it. It looks fantastic, it feels fantastic. It really is a train simulator, this. Next station, North Wembley. And then got South Kenton, Kenton, and then Harrow Wealdstone, where this train terminates. What's your dial? What do you mean by that, Adso? What's my dial? Welcome to Salnak, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat. Stand well behind the edge of platform 2. The approaching train is not scheduled to call at this station. I don't think, is that the announcement really? Stand well away. It's stand well away from the edge of platform 2. The next train is to be fair, I've not been on a train in so long now, I can't actually remember that announcement. Stand well away from the edge of platform 2. The approaching train is not scheduled to stop at this station. I'm sure it's scheduled to stop rather than scheduled to call, but I'll have to check that. I mean, like I said, the last time I took a train was about 5 months ago now, so perhaps I've just forgotten in these long months away from public transport. I've been on buses more recently, but not the trains. Stand well away from the edge of platform. Stand well back. Stand well away from the edge of platform 2. The approaching train does not stop here. Stand well away from the edge of platform 2. I'm sure something like that. What's the daily increase? Oh right, daily increase subscribers right now. Around 600 subs a day we're seeing right now on an average. And the viewers are stable at around 100,000 a day. So yeah, the 100,000 a day viewers is crazy. Before, I'd get about 100,000 views in 6 months, and so to get that on the daily is just phenomenal. I've been blown away with that's what you guys are showing, the amount of love you've shown. It's just phenomenal. Yeah, what 12.6k subs now? 2 weeks ago, I was on 3.4k subs. Yes, in 2 weeks the growth has been phenomenal, and so I do thank you all so much for the support you've shown. Don't need to do anymore, we can just do that. Right, we're almost there now, and next station will be Kenton, and then finally Harrow Wealdstone, where this will then come to an end. There's a few people waiting for the train to let her aboard, and then we'll close the doors. What's my opinion on City Skylines? I like it. I've not played it in a little while, but as a city builder, City Skylines pretty good. It's what SimCity should have been. The 131 South. It's the 13. You go 13. So 1331 Southwest train service to London Waterloo, calling at Putney, Clapham Junction, Vauxhall, and London Waterloo. Trains got compared to the first one, so you got new UI, new train physics, new game engine, and small improvements here and there, as well as better optimization and yeah, just an overall upgraded platform. Thank you for subscribing on Twitch, Mr. Harafnin, is that how you pronounce it? Thank you very much for that, man. Much appreciated. You're a star. What I learned to play these Sims, practice basically. Practice. But yeah, if you're looking for a train, if you want to see this compared to Rafnin, much appreciated, man. You're a star. Yes, compared to the original Train Sim Worlds, things are looking much better. I mean, right now I'm running at a solid 50 FPS in tunnels, running at a solid 60. So I'm seeing about a 15 FPS increase from the previous sim. And yeah, just overall, things are looking very, very good. And the routes are good as well. I like the Bakerloo Line. I adore the ICE. I mean, I didn't know how much I'd enjoy the ICE routes, but I am adored by it. It's phenomenal. Just the speed of the train, the routing, it's very, very fun. Right, got one more stop to go. Do not play Flight Sim anymore. I do play Microsoft Flight Simulator, but do be aware, this came out today. This is a newer sim than Microsoft Flight Simulator. And so, yes, the plane guy. It's one way looking Airbus. Thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Glad you enjoyed the watch. Welcome back, Peter. How you doing? To be fair, these trains are probably closer to a Boeing than an Airbus. It's all manual control, there's no automatic systems. If you want an Airbus, go for some of the newer trains with the ATL operation and just normal stuff. I'm mainly on YouTube. YouTube's where the majority of my audience is. Twitch is like the extra people requested it. It's the best. Thank you, Nick, for the $1 Much appreciated. Thank you very much. These trains are also way safer than Boeing aircraft. To be fair, I think train is by far the safest method of transport. They crash so rarely. Trains are the most safe, followed by aircraft, followed by car. Car is usually the most dangerous method of transport. Bus too, relatively safe, but driving, I mean, the risks are still minimal, but there's more of a risk than others. Yes, I'm from London. I do live in the UK. I do live in London, correct. And so while the Bakerloo Line is not my local route, I have used it fairly often. Yes, it's pronounced ICE. It stands for Intercity Express Train. Intercity Express. Right now we're running the 1972 stock Mark II. The 1972 stock. After the elevator. I think elevators have got more risk than... I think in the US, more people are killed by escalators than killed by something else. There's a stat out there which is relatively interesting. I can't remember what it is. More people are killed by escalators than they are killed by something else. I need to remember what that was. Alright, let's close the door. Let's get the signalman's permission, which I can't do yet. Alright, there we go. Should have permission. Yes, we do. At restricted speed. Let's pull to the siding, and then let's bring this to an end. So, 10 miles per hour is our limit. Pedal powered. 4th rail. Yeah, 4 tracks. 2 for electric, 2 for running. And actually, to be fair, it's 1 electric, which is the outer rail, so on the left or the right is the electric rail. You have your 2 running rails, which the wheels are running on. And then you've got a earth rail, which doesn't provide power, but provides an exit point for the electric on the train. And so, to be fair, London Underground trains could probably run on 3rd rail if they really wanted to. But yeah, 4 rails. Running, earthing, and powered. And the electric rail is always the one furthest away from the platform edge as well. So usually they're like jump sides, the 3rd rail. And so they try and put it away from the passenger side so in case someone was to fall, it minimises the chance of electric shock. Right, we'll go very close to the buffer, otherwise the sim won't register it as complete. There. And there we have it. That was our run from London Roads Depot to Harrow Wealdstone. Got a gold medal for it. Once again, that's good. Level 15 on the character. Level 10 on Underground. Level 15 on the Bakerloo Line 1972 stock. So, let's continue. And let us now bring this to an end, because I'm getting tired right now and I'll probably now head to sleep. Which could be the first time in about 3 weeks I've slept before midnight. This could be very good for me. So, yes, thank you all very much for the watching. Thank you all very much for tuning in as well. You guys are fantastic. Again, Scott, if you're still in the chat, I'll drop you a message tonight. You say you're on Instagram, so hopefully if you followed me, I can get you there quite easily. But, yes, thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. We won't do IC tonight. I'm a bit too tired right now, and so I'll drop a few updates on Discord what I'll do in the future, but I'll go into that in more detail soon. Once again, thank you all very much for watching. I wish you all the best. You take care, and tomorrow we'll be back with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Take care, and goodbye, and good night.